Do it.
All right, guys, I'll call our city commission meeting to order at 7 PM, July 21st, 2025. Got a small crew, but we still have a quorum. Got a short agenda too, so we can make quick work of it. Let's start with our pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got our minutes up first. These are for June 7th, 2025. Those are regular commission meeting minutes. You guys have had a chance to look them over. If everything looks good, we'll just need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as posted.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as written. We'll move to a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Commissioners report. Go ahead, Kyle.
Been working on a lot of things. Had a few complaints in regards to the walking path, I guess, up around the dam. Did have the guys go mow a little bit around there. So the grass isn't right up next to the walking path. We just started working with Pine Ridge, street project stuff. That'll be on the engineer's report as well. Just been busy doing a lot of stuff. We're doing budget stuff. Got that done with Wendy and Kirk. So onward and upward. That's all I got.
Nothing really new for me, kind of the same stuff that was going on the last time. Just finishing at budgets and taking a look at those, so looked at a few last week, I'll be in this week to look at a few more here before they're due, so other than that, that's about it for me.
I'll go while Steven's getting settled in. I'll be honest, guys, I've been a slouch since our last meeting. I haven't got a whole lot done. That Colbert property, haven't even moved that over to Liz yet, to review the purchase agreement. Judy, haven't even really worked on that flagpole sign light situation yet. It's been a busy last 2 weeks at work for me. I think you guys all know what I've been involved with, and that's not a good excuse, but I don't want you guys to think that I've been actively working on things when in fact I haven't. So, really looking forward to digging back in after tomorrow and, just getting back in the swing of things.
I don't have too much for an update necessarily. As far as over there looking at that pipe that's been freezing during the winter, we do have a contractor lined up. He's going to be getting us a quote, and we're hoping to get that soon. And he said he could definitely have it done before the winter. So if we go with him, definitely going to keep him to that promise.
And that's just electrical and a heater, or just electrical?
Well, they're gonna open up the road there, and they're pretty sure it's basically like we all talked about, where they tapped into the top. So it's freezing there.
You're talking right here by the school.
Yeah, right
I'm
by
sorry, I thought you were talking about our lift pump.
Oh, I was kind of like, I don't think there's any electrical involved in this.
By Karen's.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but he's pretty sure it's just like what we talked about. He said that it's a poor practice that a lot of people are doing, tapping into the top and then hewing down. So they're gonna cut it out and go from there. They're gonna start right at the shut off and go backwards towards the main. So I hope to get that quote soon, and I hope it's pleasing, and then I'll bring it to you guys and we'll see what we can do.
All right, well, since I asked, now it's kind of stuck in my brain, that lift pump that the building kept freezing up, we needed to install an explosion-proof heater and electrical and all that. Are we still moving forward with that?
I'll have to look into that and I'll get back to you.
And then we also have the lagoon situation. I know it's July 21st now. Where are we at with that? Because I got a feeling winter's just,
Around the corner.
yeah, it's almost here.
My understanding is from the start, we've actually made a lot of progress. But I know there is some to go. Let me get with them and get a full detailed list and what it has been completed, so we have that as well, but also what needs to be done before winter hits. But I'll get that list for you as well and get back to you.
I had a meeting with them today and not much has been done, if nothing. So still a lot to do.
Okay, well, I will try to have a talk with them too and see what we can do.
All right, modifications or approval of the agenda. Is there anything you guys want to add to this? We'll need a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the agenda as written. Any discussion on that? Steven, you're good? Okay, we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Okay, on to old business, legal. Liz, are you there? Yep.
I am. Let's see if there I am. My camera comes up. Hopefully you can all hear me all right. I'll tell everyone good evening. I will try to track with the agenda and be somewhat prompt, but I do have a few updates and point of, I guess, guidance that I'd like from the commission this evening, or I'd like you to think about it. First update is that last week, we completed a series of depositions relating to the Benson Street litigation. It was a long week. Can you hear me okay, guys? Sorry.
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, good. I should have asked that earlier, but better late than never. In any case, we completed a series of depositions pertaining to the Benson Street matter. Kind of a long week. I would like to thank Josh Reiner, who I can see in the audience there. Josh was the first deponent last week. He sat for a 7.5-hour deposition. If you're not used to being deposed, that's quite a taxing task, and Josh did a really good job of educating all of the attorneys there, of explaining the project, of explaining the deficits and nature of the project, and it was helpful to the litigation. Wendy has done a wonderful job, and I can't see her, but I know she's there helping schedule additional depots, which are likely to occur in early September. Those will involve a couple of city employees, Kurt and Jeff, or Kirk rather, and Jeff. I will speak with them prior to their depots, but I mean, that should be a smaller task or a smaller set of questions perhaps than that which Josh faced. The other depositions went well. They were instructive and helpful to the process. I say all of that just to tell you that, I think we'll have greater clarity, and there is, as lawyers on all sides learn more about a case, there is always a greater probability of settlement because everybody has an idea of what that's going to look like at trial. Frankly, the length of those depositions, when they're all complete over the next several weeks and months, is likely to exceed the length of our scheduled trials. So the lawyers are going to be pretty darn well informed of what is likely to occur in the courtroom. On that point, and here is where I need, and one more thing before I jump in. Josh, I will follow up with you by separate call, you and Drew perhaps, just to let you know what transpired after your deposition. As I said, you were the first opponent. I'll reach out to Drew and then I'll reach out to you. But I would like to discuss a couple of those things, but certainly I'm not going to eat up time this evening, and this wouldn't be the appropriate forum. So anyway, not involving you, involving the other deponents, but we'll follow up there. Having said that, here's where I need the commission's guidance. There's been tentative discussion from other counsel, not from myself, about the possibility of again continuing this trial. I've indicated to the attorney on the other side who is suggesting another continuance is in order. I'm not, I'll always talk to my clients about that. You're my clients. And I was fine with the continuance that moved the trial from September to March because we knew that wasn't going to interfere with the construction season. I mean, the outcome of trial will be determinative to the repair and the amount of damages that are afforded the city. And, because the first trial would have concluded in September of 2025 and the current trial date is set for March, that wouldn't interfere with our bid schedule. What I told other counsel And I want to be clear with the commission. The reason I didn't think the commission would have much appetite for that is that the continuance that's being discussed at this point is not one I was comfortable stipulating to, because they're talking fall of 2026. And I did not love that as a practical matter, because that would stall yet another year. And I mean, this has gone on for a long time. The problems in Benson Street, I appreciate as a lawyer that litigation takes some time to resolve, and we want to get it done right and to the satisfaction of everyone involved, particularly our citizens. But I think that's getting a ways out. But I'm open to hearing from the commission. I just had a feeling that if that continuance would take us past the 2026 construction season, all or some of you might find that to be objectionable. And I want to be able to convey that to the other lawyers as we discuss this. If it's not objectionable, that's fine too, but I wanted your thoughts before I weigh in further on that point.
They're nodding at me like I go first. I don't like the idea of waiting, you know, everybody in town calls it roller coaster road. I'd kind of like to put that to bed, get it fixed and give them a nice smooth road to travel on. Not only that, but 2026 is a ways out there, and not saying it could happen, but construction companies and subcontractors, they get bought out all the time. And if a buyout was to occur, it most likely would turn into another continuance, and we could really kick the can down the road for a long time on this one. Just assume, I don't know, it's up to you guys. Just get in there and get this done.
I agree with you. Like, I don't think we need another continuance, push this further and further. Is what's not to say after this one, another one. And like you said, just keep kicking the can down the road and continue on. Nothing ever gets done with it. I mean, I personally live on that street and it does suck. My U-Haul sunk in 3 inches in one day when I first moved here. So yeah, I mean, I think if possible, we need to continue.
We got to get the road fixed. So, I mean, that's the main goal. So the longer we drag it out, the longer that it stays how it is. So I feel about it.
Yeah, the road needs to be fixed as soon as possible. We cannot wait any longer. It should never even come to this point, but here we are, so now we have to deal with it. But thanks.
Yeah, I think we can collectively agree it's actively getting worse too. So a year from now, it's gonna be in rough shape.
Okay. And that, I mean, you know, I don't ever want to put my cart in front of my horses, so to speak, but I did indicate, you know, to the other attorneys that I had a feeling that was likely to be the consensus of the board. So I'll convey that back, and I appreciate you guys, you know, coming to the mics and and confirming that suspicion for me. So that was my big hesitation, was any continuance that would lead us past the ability to bid and repair in that season seemed to me to be unlikely without us objecting. A court can continue what they wish at the behest of a party, but I'm here if it's going to cause that, I will lodge an objection, and I will talk to the other lawyers about that. Hopefully it's avoidable, but I told them I would follow up with you guys, and I have, and you do all seem to be in agreement there, as predicted. So good. Next item that's the Benson Street summary for now. I'll keep you posted as things become known in that litigation.
I guess, sorry, Liz,
go ahead.
not to interrupt you, but
Sure.
I mean, if for some reason it would proceed to 2026, I mean, are we able to get any extra additional restitution costs for waiting this long a period? I guess would be my question.
I think that depends on what you mean by that. As you know, our goal is to ensure that the city lands in the condition and with the performance that it contracted for, which was new roads and underlying infrastructure suitable to meet the terms of the agreement. And that's obviously not the condition of the road. So what I can tell you is that inflationary expense increases, right? What it costs to fix that road in 2022 is probably not the same cost. I don't know. I don't have a particular number. That's something we establish at trial, but probably yes. The expense has already gone up just due to market features and the fact that construction and materials have gone up arguably dramatically in that period. So there's additional costs there. Convenience and headache are probably, or inconvenience and headache are probably not conceptualized um, in connection with damages. I mean, it's a contracts claim, not a torts claim. So, pain and suffering, although I concede it's there, I would not be happy if I were living on that street and commuting on it every day. It's a mess. That's probably not necessarily cognizable, Kyle. But in general, yeah, I would say that the delay in time has created aggravated damages in the sense that the repairs and materials necessary to reconstruct that road to a satisfactory level, it's probably gone up. So that's a yes and a no. A yes, that I suspect the damages have gone up. A no, in the sense that if we're implying that the inconveniences and frustrations are compensable, they're probably not, frustrating as that is. Good question.
There are a few spots where we've had to take some repairs into our own hands because simply a small, low profile car, I mean, they're gonna get high centered to rip off their oil pan. So at that point, then it's liability back on the city. So we've taken some steps to eliminate them spots, and I get there's many out there, but the atrocious ones we've fixed so far.
Yep, and that would be cognizable. So we'll do the review. And this gets, probably more depthy than I want to get at this moment, but that's one of the issues in dispute. I don't even want to say dispute, but that's probably true. In contention in this lawsuit is what's the scope of repair, how to best repair it to return the city. Our position is, and that is in pleadings, that the city bargained for a new road. We don't want a patched up, disjointed road. We want a new road. And we want it to meet with the specifications and design that we bargained for in that contract. There also is an awareness, Kyle, and again, I don't want to get too depthy because although I had that document in front of me nearly all of last week, I don't have it in front of me this moment. But prior to your time on the commission, we actually entered into a temporary memorandum of understanding to address some of those more significant repairs. I think all of the parties are aware that the city had to engage, and so did the contractor actually, to make more immediate repairs. They did not return the road to the condition it was supposed to be in, but you're right. There were dips and gullies and problems that required immediate attention and temporary correction. So I will tell you, there is an awareness of that. And to the degree that those are things that the city paid for to accomplish, that would be compensable because that's all part of damages. So the headache's not there, but actual expense and actual repair would be something that the lawsuit would take into account, and that damages arguably, certainly that would be presented to a court if it went that far. And certainly those things are all being discussed in connection with trying to resolve this suit. And if it does resolve short of a trial, those are all issues that will certainly be addressed and calculated. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Any other questions from you folks before I go to our next topic? Good.
Good.
Next item is KSI. You'll recall that there was some previous dialogue with Gavin. He's an attorney at Vogel Law Firm. Gavin represents KS Industries, or I call them KSI. You'll recall that not too long ago in the history of Tioga, KSI made an application to become annexed to part of the city. I realize there are certain facts in dispute about how the parties recall that history and how the parties recall the hiccups that occurred through the course of that history. But in any case, as you know, KSI has requested that they be de-annexed. There was some initial conversation about how a party may, if at all, become de-annexed, particularly when they were the ones that requested annexation. it wasn't a city annexing them. It was a request and a consensual annexation. In any case, Gavin appeared together with his client. There were some discussions there. Gavin has followed back up. I told him that I would put this bug in your ear, and probably we'll have Wendy follow up if this is a point that you all wish to have further discussion on. We'll have Wendy help us with scheduling. But he would like to know if, I guess, kind of what the barometer looks like for the commission. As you'll recall, one of the things that the commission rightly told KSI was that they needed to communicate with the township, right? Because the township was present at the last meeting and said, whoa, 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 nobody's talked to us. Like, we're objecting to this de-annexation because we're not even party to these communications. After some period of time, and that notice, to their credit, KSI, it sounds, has reached out to the township. Gavin has indicated that the township is now not objecting. They're consenting to the de-annexation, provided that they're noticed of the conversations and they're permitted to participate in those conversations, which seems fair. I mean, it lies within their township borders. And so Gavin has asked if it would be, he's not trying to commit you in any real sense, but he's wondering if it would be appropriate at this time to begin drafting that potential exit ramp for de-annexation, because you'll remember, sorry, hold on guys, that's unprofessional. I don't know if you can hear my dogs barking. They'll disappear into the background. But in any case, we told them we weren't interested in absorbing their attorney's fees and costs to draft the exit ramp because they requested the annexation and now they're requesting unannexation. So essentially, Gavin is just looking for a soft confirmation that that's something that the commission might entertain before he undertakes to begin a bunch of legal drafting. I told him I would do my best to see what the general sense of the commission might be about furthering that discussion now that the township is represented. They are not objectionable to a de-annexation. So I need a little guidance there. You don't have to decide tonight, but if you have a little bit of guidance tonight, that would maybe help Wendy work with Gavin about scheduling and give Gavin time to work on that.
Is there written confirmation that the township is okay with the de-annexing, or is it all verbal? I guess would be my question.
You know, that's a good question. I have written confirmation from Gavin. Gavin has represented to me in writing that he has had discussions with representatives of the township, and the township is open to the de-annexation and they're no longer objecting. Again, underline bold, provided that they continue to be informed and participatory in those conversations. So do I have a writing from the township itself? I don't. But I mean, I would be very surprised if Gavin, or frankly, another attorney in Gavin's predicament, misrepresented a position like that. I don't have any reason to believe the township didn't say that, and that was a written representation from Gavin. Yes.
Okay, well, my tune hasn't changed on it. I mean, they're not hooked up to any of our services. I mean, that's why they wanted to be annexed in the first place, is to benefit from our utilities. That obviously didn't happen. But I'm with Kyle. I need something in writing from the township to Gavin saying, yep, we are on board with this. But yeah, I haven't changed my tune on it. I don't think they should be annexed if they're not benefiting from our services.
Yeah, I would entertain it. I'd be fine with them coming forward with something.
I would agree with them. I'd be perfectly okay with it as well.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I think that's very fair, Kyle. Again, good question, and I don't have a perfect answer, but I'll let Gavin know that I think, you know, the feeling of the general metric at this moment on the commission is favorable in the sense that you guys would like to look forward to that conversation, but you need a written assurance that the township, from the township, that they're ready to engage in that project and discussion, and they're consenting to it. Other thing I wanted to just maybe put in Gavin's ear, and we may need Josh's assistance there. You know, I know what the bargain was to annex it. I know the projected cost and what the cost share was between the city and KSI. I guess what we need to know and to be able to share with Gavin is what, if any, or at least I thought we needed to know, to offer that out there too. What, if any, expense the city has incurred in engineering or other costs to begin that project? Because, again, we didn't annex them. They moved to become annexed. And you're right, Brett, it didn't come to fruition. And the parties can agree or disagree about how that came to be. But I do think it would be fair to let KSI know what the city's expenses were, and to make that a point of the discussion as part of this potential off-ramp.
No, I agree 100%. My understanding is it wasn't KSI's fault, it wasn't the city's fault, but to your point, if there were expenses incurred, I don't want to reverse that for no good reason. I mean, all of that stuff has already been put in. Let's just say a year from now, they decide, hey, we are gonna run some utilities out to us. All that stuff's already done, all the engineering work. If they truly want to be de-annexed and the township is 100% on board with it, anything that we've paid up to this point, I think it's fair to be reimbursed for.
That was kind of my thought. So if you guys are comfortable with that, I would like to make sure Gavin understands that as he and his clients consult about the way we might wind this up. Sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Finally, my last point here, and it's perhaps controversial. I don't know that it matters. I became aware of some reporting last week, and had some very brief discussions with leadership in the city regarding some news and some developments at the Tioga Airport Authority. And I'll call it the TAAB, the Tioga Airport Authority Board for short. It came to my attention through a news report. I believe that was in the Williston Graphic, which was shared with me, that there has been some negative press about circumstances and events that are alleged to have, and in the case of the Attorney General, have been found to have occurred at the airport. My very tentative understanding of those events, based on the reporting and the Attorney General's opinion, is that there was an open records violation found. I believe the date of that opinion was maybe July 10th of 2025. That's a publicly accessible opinion, which anyone can look up. And that discussed a failure of open meetings laws. I don't want to get too high on my horse. The city has been found on occasion, not often, but on occasion, to have engaged in minor violations of open records laws, and we always promptly correct and we learn from that. But in addition to the open records violation, the reporting also indicated some fairly deep concerns about conflicts of interest, about transparency or the lack of it above and beyond the AG's opinion. And, frankly, reviewing that article, it was concerning to me because, if true, it certainly bespeaks an issue, several issues transpiring out there. And, airports are crown jewels. They're wonderful places for community, for commerce, for all kinds of things, for emergency services. There's a thousand brilliant things that airports do. And the last thing I would want to see happen to any municipality, and certainly this one, is to have that important facet of the community demeaned or discouraged. What I would dislike even more than that is to have the public think that the leadership within Tioga doesn't have their eyes and ears to the ground, because they do. And it's also, in addition to that reporting, I've been advised that there are some real concerns, frankly, within the contingents of the community about what's going on out there, both from the standpoint of conflict of interest, of lack of transparency. And I don't want anyone in the city of Tioga to think that our board was participatory in those decisions. To be abundantly clear, our board doesn't have control of what the Tioga Airport Authority does and does not do. The only interaction really that our board has with that board is by the ability to nominate and appoint the seats on the Tioga Airport Board. Our board has always been very supportive of all boards that relate to the city of Tioga. But, you know, I want to be clear that the actions that have come to be at issue with regard to the airport, the commission is not deaf to those concerns, but they also weren't participatory in making the decisions that arguably led to those things. And so I want to be clear about that. Other thing I wanted to advise the commission, and I don't expect action tonight, but I just wanted to let you know that I certainly reviewed the statutes regarding the creation of municipal airport authorities. And if the airport can't find a way to rectify those matters and speak with the concerned community members, either to allay those concerns, if they're, you know, if those are false allegations, then they need to maybe talk to the community about why it's incorrect. If they are legitimate fact or occurrence issues, then I hope the Tioga Airport Authority has discussions about how to fix that. And if those two things fail, I did want the board to understand that under the statutes, the North Dakota statutes, the Century Code, if things became extremely difficult, the Tioga Airport Authority is created under statute by resolution of the city. That's how the statute works. If those matters persist and they're not correctable, and consumable and digestible in a way that's satisfactory to the citizenry here, the board does, the commission board does have the ultimate authority after appropriate windup and debt processing and review of liabilities to, by resolution, undo the airport board. I mean that it can become a portion of the city, so to speak, in the sense that, you know, the commission could supplant that board by resolution. Now, you know, that's not something I expect you to discuss tonight. I think that would be very premature. But, you know, as they say, sunshine is the best disinfectant. There are some really deep and I think maybe complicated concerns that appear to be circulating within the community and even the press about what's going on out there. And so I don't think it would have been fair not to raise it when it was raised to my attention and it's been reported on. I hope that the airport becomes aware of this discussion. I'm told that one of the board members has brought that to the airport's attention, the reporting, and that makes me hopeful. That does make me hopeful. It sounds like maybe they've had some preliminary conversations out there, but I also think this board needs to be aware of those developments, and I want to make sure the community knows that this board is always, you know, transparent and open to hearing concerns. Again, we're just not deaf and blind to what happens. We're just also not in a position of authority at this moment. But you could be if the need became that. So that's all I have. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers or step on any toes there, but this commission has seemed particularly intent on the issue of transparency. I appreciate that, and I think it's very important. And I share that last point of interest with the commission and with the community in an effort to try to maintain the commission's commitment to transparency.
Yeah. Guys, do you have any questions for Liz? Steven, you good? Okay, well, thank you, Liz.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, we are moving on. Old business number 2, engineering report.
Thank you. Good evening. Few items to run through tonight with you. We'll start with the Pine Ridge subdivision. So this, development, has kind of a long history. I don't know all of it, haven't been involved in all of it, but that subdivision, it's, the area just west of the high school there. It was originally built in 2013 timeframe, is what I've gathered. And there was, some issues out there and the project never got completed with putting the roads in and whatnot. So, some time ago, the, current owner of the property, had purchased it and, has been, working towards getting the roads built out there. So a year and a half, 2 years ago, we had, put together plans, specifications. City had intended to, complete that project via special assessment to pay for the project. And it was bid out. The special assessments would have been on solely on the developers' properties within the area there. And the bids came in pretty high, so bids were rejected and it was kind of put on the back burner, I guess, for lack of a better word. And the discussions from there between the city and the property owner was that the property owner was intending to or set up financing on his own instead of the city bonding for it, and then he would hire a contractor to complete that work. Well, it was quiet until a few weeks ago, and got a call, and they had their contractor that they'd had some conversations with had a window open up that they could come up and complete the work. So they did show up today. Kyle was out there this afternoon. We kind of went through the site a little bit with them, and we had a meeting with the contractor at City Shop ahead of that, and kind of went through some things. So I guess it's kind of a spring out of nowhere. It's the cost is intended to be on the developer to complete the roads. However, the discussion all along has been that the roads would be taken over by the city. That's been kind of the history of it, from way back when it initially started. It would be city streets and whatnot out there. So I guess from my standpoint, the biggest thing is, it's kind of been verbal discussion of, I guess the city will take it over once it's built to the standards and all that, but having a more formal agreement on what exactly that means instead of just some, I guess, discussion on it. I think that may be something we may want to pull Liz in and have some discussions on before they get too hot and heavy on that thing. Yeah, that's kind of where that one stands. Any thoughts from the commission on that?
Don't.
Do we want to set something up to kind of formalize that a little more to make it, I guess, I just don't want it to be kind of not.
What did we do up in the Annabelle expansion?
I'm not sure. I wasn't around when that was put in. I don't know.
Probably something we should look into,
Mhm.
and then we can turn it into a simple copy paste, change the name.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of be, and I don't know, Liz, if you're familiar or done any development agreements, it would essentially be like something along those.
Yeah.
Not necessarily small, like smaller communities. Sometimes they do them, sometimes not. But larger municipalities throughout the state and do it just because they're more sophisticated, and the smaller communities should be doing it as well, because it just makes everyone well aware of what's what, and everyone's on the same page. So that was, I guess, the biggest thing I had on that one. So
I would appreciate, Josh, if you, and that's of course subject to the commission, but I think you are rightly concerned about the idea that there are verbal agreements which may not be formalized, which affect what is likely to become municipal infrastructure. in the interest of full disclosure, I was not around. That was developing or undeveloping, as it were, right when I was coming onto the board. And the Pine Ridge situation was complicated, and it was I think complicated for a long time. And there were ins and outs that occurred before I came aboard with the city. But I think Josh's suggestion is good. That at a minimum, there is some written memorandum of understanding or agreement that relates to the city's expectation if in fact, and that is my recollection, the city wished to ultimately, become the owner of those streets. You would certainly, Josh is right, you would wish those to be compliant with the city's expectations and specifications, preferably in some written format.
Should I circle back with you tomorrow or sometime on that list to get?
You
Something
can try
started.
for tomorrow. This week would be good. Yes, let's circle back this week. I make no promises for tomorrow. It's full, but if you shoot me an email, we'll find a time, Josh.
Okay, sounds great. Moving on then, the baseball or softball field relocation project, Clomer. I was hoping to have more information tonight. I had fully anticipated about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. They had indicated the end of last week we would should expect to hear back on being able to send the letters out for notifications to the property owners. We, however, have not heard back and did reach out to them today. No responses yet. So still not moving very quickly, but I'm very hopeful here and get the letters sent out and then move forward with hopefully construction shortly thereafter. I did I guess related to construction, has where would the city stand as far as having somebody lined up for doing that? Has there been, it sounded like there were some discussions out there, but I don't know if there's been any headway.
I've been doing a lot of research and I've been requesting bids from folks as far as installs, whether it's grass, turf, anything and everything. Here's why I'm not excited about any of it. What you just said was exactly, almost word for word, what you just said 4 weeks ago. You were hopeful, you were waiting to send out letters, you thought we were going to get confirmation to send it out. I have no reason to believe that we'll be ready 2 weeks from now. So as far as building one right now, no. Like, not until it is absolutely confirmed that FEMA is okay with it. When that is, I don't know.
Yeah, neither. I understand the frustrations, and
I've even talked to the school board. I went to a school board meeting to talk about options of building something out here if we couldn't, or out there, if we couldn't build where it's supposed to go. Like, we got irons in the fire everywhere, but this is all hinging on FEMA, which doesn't seem to be progressing at all. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't want to outkick our coverage and get stuff lined up just to find out that nothing is allowed to happen anyway. You know? And I want that softball field so bad, and you know that.
I do. I fully understand, and
we've got a whole crop of senior girls ready for their senior year, and they may not have the field they were supposed to have to play on. There's a bunch of little kids that would love to use that thing next year that likely isn't going to happen. I'm concerned about that. So you guys have any questions for Josh?
I guess I would just question, have we done absolutely everything we possibly can? So when we get these letters sent out to the addressees that we get approval, we can hit the ground running. Because we're already so far behind on this project. And we haven't moved a single anything with dirt, so.
And that was kind of where that question was directed, in a sense of, when that is approved to go to construction, we want to be out there right away, of course, but getting somebody that has flexibility to just say, yeah, you call me, I'll be out there the next day. That's gonna be tough. And I guess, you know, there was discussion earlier on about, the previous quote that had been received and it being above the threshold for bidding.
Everything's gonna be, if it was 384,000 to
Yeah.
do dirt work and plant grass, everything we look at is gonna be over 300,000.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gotta go out for bids. I would really like the community to say what they want. Do they want grass? Do they want turf? What does it look like? Like, another thing to consider is because this has been drug out for so long and because there was a lot of misconception on what was paying for this in the first place, if it was going in with the community center, if it was getting pulled out separate. I mean, we also heard that the field was gonna get built right away as soon as they turned it or tore it down, and that didn't happen either, but I am fairly certain that we don't have anything in the 2025 budget slotted for a softball field. So how do we navigate that? You always hear well, oil and gas will pay for it, and that's great. But how do we do that and follow the rules of fund accounting and not get in trouble with the state? Like, I don't want to just rush into this thing. And again, we're still hoping that it gets approved, rush into it, build, and then get our hands slapped in the process. Like, it's got to be very calculated because everything up to this point with that softball field has not been calculated at all. We cannot compound mistakes on this. But again, nobody wants that field more than I do, I don't think. Maybe the rec director and softball coach, but we got to figure out a way to do this.
It's kept me up at night. I know that. It's been
Well,
on my side. I fully understand
I get sassy about that, and that doesn't help things either.
No. Oh, and you've been fine. Just been. So, okay. Yeah.
Josh, did FEMA, can I just ask, and if you don't know, that's fine, but do they have anything resembling a drop dead date? I mean, is there a limitation on the amount of time that they're permitted to hold hostage a permit, for lack of a better term?
So it's kind of, it would be 90 days, but that's after each submittal. So, you know, you submit and then they have your initial submittal, they have 90 days to respond to, and then technically they do have 90 days for kind of each step as you go back and forth. The reviewer we've talked with has indicated he's not gonna just sit on it to that degree. I guess I don't know what other fish he has frying, I guess, for lack of a better word, but yeah,
Could you share me your contacts info? I'll be honest, I've called FEMA a lot about this, and I have to do the whole dial to, and well, you know what I'm talking about. You got about 17 different options you got to go through before you talk to a automated operator. And I've been transferred to Wyoming's FEMA branch more times than I can count now. Like, I just want somebody that you've been talking to so I can talk to them too. Just double down on them and fight it like a gorilla.
Yeah, I'll get that over to you tomorrow.
Okay, questions for Josh? Good.
Okay, and I guess one other miscellaneous item, I did meet with Wendy this afternoon, talking about the emergency action plan for the dam. Just kind of ran through that with her a bit, and there was one item that she did that she noticed on there that said we should have some conversations on how we want to maybe tweak that for before final approval. So we will.
Was it how my last name was misspelled in a couple different areas?
She did mention that. We missed the S on a couple spots, but there were a couple other miscellaneous items that she had information on that it's kind of been developing that we'll want to address before fully adopting. So trying to set something up to run through that and get that update, and then we can get it adopted hopefully at the next commission meeting. So
Kyle, has Kirk had a chance to look at that?
yes.
Yeah.
I sent it to him. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I've got.
We'll hear no questions. Think you're good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. All right, moving on, community center expansion update.
Good evening. So items completed this month was, bleacher installs complete. We completed the hydro seed and the rock mulch around the plantings. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing commissioning is complete. Test and balance is complete on the HVAC system. We're gonna be doing the hydronic system next week. It just hadn't been cold enough to start the boilers or force them to run. We didn't wanna run the boilers while it was cooling, so we'll do that when it's cooler. Generator startup and load test was complete. Punch list was completed. Then owner's training is probably in between 85 and 90% complete. The city guys been over there, they got trained on the mechanical systems, etc. For upcoming, I have my final inspections. Electrical will be on Wednesday, and the final plumbing will be Thursday. Then on the 29th, I have the final fire inspection with Jess from Bismarck, or she's from Minot, but the state fire marshal. We have owner FF&E move in. That'll be that first week of August. And then we're gonna final clean right after that furniture. Well, we've already final cleaned once, but we'll final clean once again after the owner's furniture has been moved in, and then Haley moves her stuff from the existing side over to the game room, etc. And we'll final clean again, and then pretty much be wrapping up. We had, approximately 125 items on our punch list. We're working through those items. It's pretty standard on a large commercial. Most of them were paint touch-up, things on the walls, etc. So we have mechanical, electrical, and architectural punch list. So we will get those complete and wrap it up.
When's the? Oh, burden. When's the final walkthrough?
Also, punch list was a week and a half ago. And so, that was the, I guess, walkthrough.
We do another one?
I guess if you want to. Sure. So, yeah, we'll fix whatever you want.
But no, I wasn't
Also-
there for the walkthrough.
Sure, yeah.
You know.
Well, no, yeah, no, I'm
I'm not that guy.
No,
I think I just kind of looked.
but so like a punch list, so the architect and then Haley and Dan walked through, they blue taped everything they saw, and then the contractors come back, they have the list, they complete all the items on the list, and then they are quote unquote released from their contractual obligations, I guess you'd say. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want us to fix, I'm more than happy to take care of it.
That's the guy I'm worried about, not me.
no, and
I would like to walk
earlier
through it.
today, so.
What day do we want to do this?
Guess whatever day you want. You want to walk after her furniture is moved in and after final clean again?
Oh no, before furniture.
I guess name a day.
Okay. You got next week? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on vacation all next week, but
You got my number? I
yeah,
don't have yours. Oh,
yeah, I got it. I'll call you.
Yeah, just,
We'll set something up.
Okay.
Sweet.
Good evening. I have pay request number 12 for $1,058,476.
what were we talking about? What are we supposed to say? like sure or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, yeah.
I make a motion to approve pay app number 12.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to accept pay app number 12 or approve pay app number 12. Any discussion on that? Okay, we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are on to new business, community center. We got a Forte quote.
Hello. So, David and I have been trying for quite some time to get this quote from ABI, which is now called Forte, for the door key card scanners on the new north door, south door, and electrical room. This, to my knowledge, has been factored into the soft costs of the approved budget. So it's not additional, to my understanding. So that quote came to $18,254.02. And this would tie into our existing system.
How many keys can be programmed? Like
Oh my gosh.
gazillions?
Yeah, you have a whole box that we haven't even hardly gone through.
And then their software that would track every time a badge is scanned and whose
Yep.
badge it is?
Yep.
Okay. And they match up with all the other doors?
Yes.
Existing doors, so
Yes.
it's,
That's the integration.
Is there anything that has to be for software upgrades on these?
Not to my knowledge. I wonder if that would be included in the integration cost.
I didn't see anything, that's what I was just wondering, but I've never had a key badge like this, that's what I was.
I mean, we've never had to update the software as far as I know. I mean, I've never been prompted to update and I've never had somebody come by and update it.
They're just adding the 3 doors to the existing. I would assume that there's no software.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve, Forte's quote for the badge reader.
I'll second.
all right, we got a motion and a second to approve Forte's quote for the badge readers. Any discussion on that? Good, we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Okay, motion carries. All right, we are on to the tree committee, the Tioga Dam Tree Project.
So in regards to that, I get the download here quick. So last meeting, I did bring up that we did get approved for the tree grant quote in the amount of $16,224 even. So is why I wanted to bring this forward is within this grant proposal, we actually cannot get repaid any costs of trees or mulch or T-post or whatever it may be until the project is fully completed. And then after Joel with the tree service, he comes out, inspects everything. It was done to the standard that was stated in the grant. So I just want to get approval, I guess, from the board for us to start purchasing the trees and everything for this grant, since we technically won't get paid till after.
Is it fully reimbursed or is it a cost share?
No, this grant is fully reimbursed.
Good one.
So there was cost share grants, but we didn't apply for any of them. We just strictly applied for this 100% reimbursement grant.
A good find. Good job.
I'll make a motion to approve, I guess, the purchase of the trees and move forward with this tree project.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the trees to satisfy the grant. Any discussion on that?
The only thing I do have to say is there will be, so we're looking to plant these trees. It's actually 58 trees, looking to plant the trees, September 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you want to do it when it's kind of cooler out, where it's not so hot. So we're going to be creating a flyer and a poster. When you will help me with that, we're going to create a flyer and poster for kind of have a community involvement to help us plant these people who would like to, and then have, probably take 2 days-ish, give or take. But we'll drill the holes so they're ready to roll. And then we just put the trees in the ground to the spec. We got to plant them, stake them, flag them, all that stuff. But so there will be more coming out regarding this as well, but just so people are aware. Oh, yeah.
Community project. We were just talking about that. We needed one of them.
Yep, we got one coming up.
Awesome. Okay, any other discussion on that? Not, we'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Good job, Kyle. Okay, lastly, we have our consent agenda. That's the July bills, payroll for 7/22. We have 2 planning and zoning applications. One's for a home, one's for a shop, I believe. Is that right? Let me check real quick. We got a minute.
I think there's 2 buildings, I think.
Oh, yep. There's that canopy and then the pickleball court. All right. Any questions on the consent agenda? If not, we'll need a motion to approve it.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda,
I'll second
planning
that.
and zoning as well.
Okay. We got a motion, we got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Okay, move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Okay, everybody just bailed on us. Judy, do you have anything you want to talk about?
No,
No?
are the trees going to the dam? Where are they going?
Yeah, so the trees will be going on the north side of the dam over by the Derby area. And then there are some over by the docking or the dock going into the water. There'll be a few over there.
In your shop or you're waiting? You already have a shop.
Well, I misspoke. It's not a shop. It's it's another canopy. They attached the pictures of the existing one, are really nice one. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like in kind. And then a cement path and a pickleball court. You guys,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all right, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. We'll move to a vote.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:03 PM.
Thanks, guys.